Welcome Aquarius and Aquarius cross watchers to your love reading for this week. So we have the Eight of Cups for you. We're going to get a card for your person, maybe two. And then whoa. And then a card for the situation between you. So I hope you guys are having a great, because we have the Eight of Cups, the Hanging Man, the Tower, and the Death card. And then we have the Three of Cups, which to me as a reader, it often means that there's too many people involved. Excuse me. My apologies. I'm sorry. I know that's probably super annoying. So, obviously something is changing here. I feel to a certain extent that, I feel like you seem to be kind of championing, that's probably not a word, the ending of something here. And I feel like someone is letting another person take the fall. Hold on for a second. It feels like there's been something that's been orchestrated here to create a bit of a bottom. It's like Aquarius, I feel like you were the glue that was holding something together. And when you walked away, it's like whatever forces were trying to come for this person, it's almost like your energy had been holding it back. And now it's here. If ever you've seen the Thor Ragnarok, I think it is. Spoiler alert. So that's the one where Thor and Loki are together and Odin passes away, and then it was his energy that had been holding Hera back. And so then she comes and she's, agent of death and chaos. And that's not to say that death and chaos is coming for somebody, but something is. And I feel like I really got to give it to you here, Aquarius, because you're not taking any kind of enjoyment in someone's life falling apart. And I feel like you held back whatever that energy was as long as you could. But I feel like you seem to feel like you were disrespected, disregarded, excuse me, by this person. And it's like there's 5 cups. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 cups that are upright and 3 that are knocked down, right? So it's like you're just not playing whatever kind of game is going on here, right? It's like these 3 cups are done. I feel like it could be that you were in a relationship, this might be specific, you were in a relationship with someone and they had some friends that were always circling like freaking vultures. And I feel like you may have been picking those people off. But it's like you would keep getting rid of these people. And I feel like then your person would, it's like either they would let them back in or they would find similar people. And it's like you're only going to help this person out of the same mess so many times, or maybe even once, right? So it's, obviously depending on your situation. But I just feel like you're just not dealing with it. And it actually, it feels to a certain extent you may have been holding this person's karma back by being around. It feels like you were, I'm seeing you almost kind of there with your spirit, like you were just picking stuff off and getting rid of it, right? And it's like all this stuff was coming, and I feel like, and this one was over here, talking and laughing with, somebody else. Meanwhile, you're kind of championing the cause, and you're not anymore. Hold on for a second here. I feel to a certain extent that you are keeping a bit of a disconnection from this person. And it feels like it's because you know that if you knew what was really going on, you would actually feel really bad. Not responsible, not guilty, but it's like it would be hard for you to hear that this person is going through what they're going through right now. but I feel like you're holding yourself to a really high standard here. You're not kind of getting in the mix of whatever's going on. Can we get a clarifier for Aquarius and the Eight of Cups? Hold on for a second. Oh, for heaven's sake. That's me being a bad shuffler. So I feel like with this, it feels like part of you is actually watching. Maybe if you aren't watching, like actually, I feel like to a certain extent, like energetically you are. Yeah, the Five of Wands. It's almost like you want this person to know that like what you were doing with like kind of holding this stuff back for them, it was out of love. You were doing it because you were, you know, almost like a ride or a DIE, like that sort of thing. It's like, I feel like you want this person to see that you were really there for them. Maybe you don't want this tower to come crashing down on them for them to see it, but you want them to know that, like, excuse me, I was on your team. And I feel like to a certain extent, this person took you for granted. And what's interesting, it's like, they didn't even know how much you were doing. You know what I mean? And I feel like you want them to see that. I feel like you're sick and tired of feeling like, you know, they're up in their ivory tower here and you're marching along guarding the tower and like, well, and it's not like, well, what are they doing? But it's, you know, it's this energy of this person is about to see how much you were doing when you walk away. They actually seem to be somebody that lands on their feet. Yeah. I'm just kind of seeing that, like, they seem to fall out of this ivory tower into a pile of gold or something. You know what I mean? It's like they just seem to land on their feet somehow. And I feel like to a certain extent, it's almost like you might find it a little bit comical. Bear with me. That they always seem to land on their feet. And I feel like actually they don't land on their feet. They're just somebody that gets up every time. Maybe, you know, everybody's got their flaws, right? But I actually feel like you see this person as, you seem to have a pretty healthy respect for them in that they never give up. You know, maybe they make poor choices and, you know, towers fall and so on and so forth. But you actually seem to see this person as a bit of a kindred spirit in a way. What do you really want with them? Is that the Four of Wands reversed? I feel like it's like you kind of wish they weren't around. It feels like you kind of wish you knew they didn't exist. Or like you could go back to when they weren't, you know, in your awareness. It's almost like you might feel like this person is a twin flame or a soulmate, but you've walked away, you've disconnected to the best of your ability. It just feels like you kind of can't get away from their energy. And I feel like part of you is really sick of their shiz, and the other part of you might be mad at me for saying this, but I feel like part of you, like, you don't want to let them go, but you do. Hold on. And I feel to a certain extent, maybe in the past you felt that, like, you weren't quite in a place where you were giving up on them entirely. And I actually feel to a certain extent that you might be. It's almost like if this person is really my soulmate, I feel like you don't really see how this is going to come back together. Like, at all. So what's changing? Five of Swords. I actually feel like you're both kind of going through it right now. The Five of Swords talks about arguments and almost like a bit of a backbiting energy today. And what's interesting is that I actually don't feel that either of you are like that. It does feel to a certain extent that there were other parties involved, that it's like the two of you may not have actually been backbiting each other, but there were a lot of rumors swirling that you were. And I feel like it's like something seemed to get back to you. I feel like you know that this person wouldn't do that or didn't do that or whatever, but it's like the fact that they continue to allow themselves to be surrounded by people that are going to poison their existence like that. It's like you just, like maybe you respect this person that they don't give up, but you can't respect that. You can't respect that this person keeps going back for the same garbage. And I kind of feel like you, if you do see this person as your twin flame or your soulmate, and I'm not saying that they are, I feel like you kind of don't want this to pick back up. Not right now. Not like this. Just feels like there's something. We have the Six of Swords. I feel like there's some healing that you need to do. And it's not me telling you that you need to. I feel like that's where you're at. That's kind of the perspective that you have on this situation. Because I feel like, obviously, you know, how the cards are saying that, like, you're annoyed with this person for allowing people like that into their life. I feel like in that same vein, you're looking at this like, why did you allow this person to be in your life for so long? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you are also looking at what you need to, you know, pull out of yourself. Not that was blinding you to the situation, but that made you not work so hard, but like, it's almost like you feel that you let your spirituality blind you somehow. That's peculiar to me as a reader. I feel like whatever you're doing, you're going to be a champion for your, I'm hearing like, for your dang self. Pretty sure they were both. I know one of them was reversed. We have the Three of Swords and the Six of Wands, both reversed. If this is a twin flame, if this is a soulmate relationship, I feel like you're going to let the flame die out. And that's not a like, oh no, you're doing this. It feels like you're just not putting into a situation that you're not getting the same return on. And it's not like, you know, a transactional sort of thing, but it's like you're not going to be the only person that's fighting the good fight, right? You're not going to sit here and, you know, get your heart broken over and over again. You're not going to sit here and be put on display. I feel like this person, it's like they seem to be the kind of person that would make, you know, kind of joke around with you, but with a bit of like, oh, it's taking it too far when you're around. But it's like they talk like you're the top, like you're the shiz in like a really good way, that like you're kind of, you know, the best thing since baked bread. It's like they sing your praises when you're not there. And it feels to a certain extent that this person doesn't actually see that they've done anything wrong necessarily. But I feel like as they kind of go on their journey here and walk through a bit of a forest, I feel like they're going to see how their actions hurt you. And I'm not so sure that the two of you will have another chance to, you know, even just clear the air. I'm sorry if this is hurtful to hear, because I'm actually kind of feeling a bit funny about it. But I actually feel like the two of you are on different paths right now. It's almost like, obviously it may not be the actual situation, you both weren't supposed to, you know, reincarnate at the same time. It's like, you know, for example, if you're standing in line for like, okay, this person's going to get reincarnated, this person's going to do this, right? It's like your person accidentally got bumped into it. I mean, that obviously won't be the case for everybody, right? But it just feels like there's something here that they were thrown into something that wasn't their fault. And I think you know that. And I think that may be why you fought that good fight for as long as you did. Because you knew they were a good person. You knew that it wasn't their fault necessarily that whatever happened, happened. It's like, of course, some of it's their fault, right? Like, let's be real. Whoops. Guess we'll leave that out. It actually feels like you might go into a little bit of hermit energy for a little while. And I feel like that's not because opportunities aren't coming. It just feels like you are mourning the loss of something here. And I feel like not only are you mourning the loss of somebody that you fought hard for, it's like you also know that they're about to, either they are or they're about to get kicked out of this tower. And it's kind of like your energy is, this person made their bed, they're going to have to lie in it. And it's not you selling somebody down the river, it's they made their bed. They'll have to lie in it. Can we get one more? Page of Wands, and then Daughter of Wands would be, oh no, that's a wand, right? Just for a second, I thought that was a sword. And then we have the King of Wands. So, to this person's credit, it doesn't seem like they're the kind of person that's going to come crawling to you, begging for help. I feel like it's not in their nature to do that. It's not in their nature to, beg, borrow, and steal. It's like they would rather suffer alone. They'd rather suffer in silence or go without than beg or plead for something that they don't have yet. I do feel that they'll be given opportunities to kind of put themselves back together. But I do feel to a certain extent that there is kind of this, there seems to be somebody that wants to come in here, and it's like if the tower fell apart, this one wants to pick the bones. You know what I mean? It's like they want to go through the rubble and see what they can find. And I feel like your person is about to go through it. It's about to hit them real hard. And I see why you fought for them for so long, because they're not going to give up. They're not just going to kind of roll over and be like, okay, well, I guess that's that, and just give up entirely. I feel like they're going to get back up. So I think I'll leave it there, Aquarius. I apologize if this reading was a bit confusing. It was to me. But if it did resonate, I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it brought you some clarity. Normally I would do a bit of a spiel, at the end of the reading, but I don't really want to do that right now. So I love you so much. I wish you all the best this week, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.